WWE sends a heartbreaking message about Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Hello guys. Welcome back to my channel. I am Jennifer. Have a nice day. For the WWE family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman had an extremely fruitful partnership in WWE for several years until it all came to an end at WrestleMania 41. Now, the global juggernaut has sent out a message about the heartbreaking breakdown of their association. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman had an extremely fruitful partnership in WWE for several years until it all came to an end at WrestleMania 41. Now, the global juggernaut has sent out a message about the heartbreaking breakdown of their association. Reigns remained the undisputed WWE champion for close to 4 years. During his time at the top, Heyman stuck by his side as his special counsel. However, as all good things come to an end, things broke down a couple of months ago. After the wise man agreed to be on CM Punk's side at WrestleMania 41 as the favor he owed to the latter, Reigns was left dejected. If this wasn't enough, Heyman did the unthinkable by hitting Roman Reigns with a low blow at the Show of Shows, and showed his true colors by even betraying Punk to align with Seth Rollins. On the latest episode of Raw, Paul Heyman fired shots at Roman Reigns by terming him a stray big dog and taking credit for his success. WWE posted the clip of the segment on Instagram and wrote that Heyman and Reigns' relationship was done for good, meaning there was little chance of any reconciliation. On a recent edition of Sportskeeda's Unscripted, Bill Apter spoke about how Cody Rhodes could be a great new addition to Paul Heyman's stable that includes Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. The veteran journalist feels that though Cody is likely to challenge undisputed champion John Cena upon returning, it'll be more intriguing to see him turn to the dark side and join forces with Heyman. It remains to be seen if WWE puts any more performers with Heyman on Raw, as anyone associated with him is bound to see their stock rise in the company. WWE suspending wrestlers is always a big deal due to the serious nature of the situation. These can be handed out for a number of reasons, whether it's behavior or situations such as breaking the wellness policy. WE is strict on the releases and has a rule where people get 3 strikes, and then they're gone. Over the years, some wrestlers have become known for being suspended by WWE. The likes of Jeff Hardy had it built into their storylines. However, there are others who fans might be more surprised to learn have been suspended over the years, proving that not all of these moments are remembered throughout time. Roman Reigns has been the face of WWE for the last decade, which is often why people forget the fact that the company suspended him. However, Reigns was taken off the road for 30 days after being caught breaking WWE's wellness policy concerning Adderall. It came at a bad time, as WWE was building to a major triple threat match between the Shield members. That match did happen, but due to this situation, he wasn't part of the build-up for any of it. Given the gimmick that Eugene was, people will be shocked to learn he was once suspended by WWE. However, Nick Dinsmore, the man behind Eugene, did end up making a costly mistake that cost him a chunk of time during his career. In 2005, he was hospitalized while on a European tour with the company after being found in a hotel lobby unconscious. Eugene had an addiction at the time and was sent to rehab while he served his suspension. Chris Jericho might be one of the biggest names in WWE history, but even he was unable to escape suspension during his tenure with the company. However, given his star power and how often he has been on WWE television over the years, it's something that has been forgotten over time. Jericho's suspension came in 2012 and lasted for 30 days after he inappropriately handed a Brazil flag during a WWE live event. He crumpled it up and kicked it out of the ring, which led to a huge uproar. As Jericho was forced to apologize, Heath Slater was seemingly a model superstar due to his long tenure on the roster. But in 2011, he was suspended for 30 days. Given that he wasn't a main event player, this went under the radar for most people and has long since been forgotten about. However, Slater did bust the wellness policy, and that's something that WWE rarely forgives. However, he was able to continue on after this in WWE as he had a memorable career with the company. Titus O'Neil is often seen as the ideal WWE employee who might not have even been a top talent inside the ring, but did everything he was asked, from charity work to popping up on television when needed. However, in 2016, he was in a very surprising situation as he was caught pulling Vince McMahon back at the top of the ramp. The entire roster was out to applaud Daniel Bryan's retirement speech, and right at the end, O'Neil tried to stop McMahon from leaving first to show respect to Stephanie McMahon. However, Vince was furious about the embarrassment and suspended O'Neil for 90 days. Hornswoggle was so often presented as a comedic talent that the idea of suspending him seemed impossible to many wrestling fans. However, the WWE legend suffered a 30-day suspension in 2015 when he violated the WWE wellness policy, which is something the company has zero tolerance for. However, his situation was slightly different from most people who get suspended because of this. Hornswoggle wasn't suspended for failing the test, but rather for not providing a urine sample within the necessary timeframe. Jerry Lawler's suspension in 2018 wasn't something anyone expected, given his age and the fact that he was working as a commentator at the time. However, this did take place due to a situation outside of the ring that WWE had to take seriously. Lawler and his fiancée, Lauren McBride, had been arrested and charged with domestic abuse at the time. And WWE took the decision to punish Lawler at work as well. Wrestling fans remember Sasha Banks and Naomi walking out on WWE and refusing to work. But many forget that the company suspended them for these actions. They were stripped of the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, and both women ended up being let go by WWE. At that time, Banks has never returned to WWE, but Naomi is now back and is a significant part of the roster. However, at the time, WWE was furious that they refused to compete on WWE Raw as planned, and given that they were under contract, it's understandable. Samoa Joe had a great run in WWE, and seemingly did everything by the book throughout his tenure. He worked on the main roster in WWE NXT, took up a commentary and general manager position when he couldn't wrestle, and proved himself a perfect worker inside the ring. However, he was suspended in 2020 for a wellness violation, which many people don't know about. That's because he was already out of action with the C1 concussion, so his 30-day ban wasn't as noticeable. Edge is often seen as a legend of WWE, and someone who did everything he should have done during his WWE tenure. However, in 2007, he was part of the drug scandal that was taking over WWE as various wrestlers found themselves in hot water for purchasing from an online pharmacy. Edge was suspended for that, despite being a big name on the roster at the time. It's a situation most fans have forgotten due to his career, but it was a low point in his time working for WWE. Seth Rollins and his new WWE faction took out Roman Reigns a few weeks ago on Raw. Analyst Sam Roberts recently suggested a scenario in which the Visionaries group would cost the OTC a major championship match against a massive superstar. At WrestleMania 41, Paul Heyman unexpectedly betrayed his best friend, CM Punk, and his tribal chief, Roman Reigns, to side with Seth Rollins. The wise men delivered a low blow to the OTC to allow the Visionary to finish him and win the triple threat match. The following Monday on Raw, Reigns attempted to get revenge on his former Shield partner and ex-special counsel. However, Braun Breaker took him out as he revealed himself as the third member of Rollins' faction. On his Not Some Wrestling podcast, Roberts suggested who could be John Cena's opponents heading into his retirement at the end of this year. The 41-year-old analyst proposed that the undisputed WWE champion defend his title against Reigns at Clash in Paris in August. He pointed out that Rollins and his faction could then cost the OTC the match. John Cena is set to defend his undisputed WWE championship against Randy Orton this Saturday at Backlash in the Vipers' hometown of St. Louis. On the same episode of his Not Some Wrestling podcast, Sam Roberts predicted that the franchise player would emerge victorious. Meanwhile, the 41-year-old analyst suggested that Cena then beat LA Knight at Saturday night's main event and CM Punk at Money in the Bank, before being challenged by Dominic Mysterio.